In this video, we're going to show you how to replace a radiator on your Toyota Camry. Let's get started. Remove the clips from the upper radiator cover. Remove the radiator cover. Reach down and find the drain petcock for the coolant. Go ahead and open that up. Make sure you have a bucket under you before you open this. To make the coolant drain faster, we can open up the top radiator cap. Only open this if the car is cold. If you open this while it's hot, this will be under pressure and it can come up and spray you. Using a 10mm socket, remove the two bolts for the air box. Remove the air box piece. We're going to remove the upper radiator hose from the radiator. Using a pair of pliers, pinch the clamp, pull it back, and remove the hose. Just going to bend this back out of the way. Remove the hose for the overflow from the radiator. Remove the connectors for the fans. Push on this top button and pull back and remove the connector. Do the same thing on the other fan. You may need to wiggle them a bit. Using a trim tool, go around and pop out all of the plastic stays and remove the fan connector harness from the fan assembly. There's 3 sets of these pinch tabs, one in the middle and then one on either side. We're going to go around pinching these and then pulling forward on the fan assembly. Remove the fan assembly. When you're removing it, this is a plastic stay for the lower radiator hose. You'll have to pull the hose up and out of this to be able to pull it up. Using a 10mm socket, remove the 6 bolts holding on the upper radiator support. There's a top one on either side. And we're going to have 3 in the front, 1 behind the hood latch. We're going to remove this 10mm bolt. We're going to lift up on the upper radiator support, but we're not going to pull up fully. We're going to have to remove 2 connectors for the horns. There's one push button tab right here. Push on top and pull that out. Do the same thing on the other horn. It's easy to go from the back. We're going to close the radiator drain. We're going to remove the clamp off of the lower radiator hose. Pinch the clamps for the transmission cooler lines and slide the clamps down. We're going to pull these hoses off. When we do this, a bit of fluid may come out. I have little caps that I'm going to put over the metal hoses when I pull the rubber off. I'm going to move my coolant bucket so I don't mix the transmission fluid and the coolant. I'm also going to put one more bucket down to collect any transmission fluid that falls. Remove the hose. If you have a cap, go ahead and put it on. Using a 10mm socket, we're going to remove the 4 bolts for the condenser. There's 2 on the top and 2 on the bottom. Remove the 2 bolts on the bottom. Remove the radiator. Remove the rubber grommets from the bottom and top of the old radiator. Remove the grommets on the top. We're going to remove the radiator hose and the transmission hoses off of the old radiator to the new one. We're going to go around with a pair of pliers and pinch the clamps. We're going to replace this clamp. It's getting a little too old and a little too crusty, and it's not having as much spring back as I think it should. Remove the cap for the lower radiator hose. I'm going to install my new clamp and install the hose. Go ahead and pinch it, pull it over, and put it back in the original position. Install the transmission hoses, pinch the clamps, pull them down. Install the grommets onto the bottom of the radiator and install the top grommets. Now it's ready to go into the car. Install the radiator into the vehicle. When we're dropping this in, we're going to make sure that our grommets on the bottom are sitting into their spots. When it's fully seated, you can slide it back and forth and it won't move. Install the lower radiator hose. Try to get the clamp back into its original position. I'm going to remove the cap and then install the transmission hoses. Pinch the clamps, slide them back into place. Install the condenser onto the back of the radiator. There's these little tabs that are going to line up, and that'll hold it in place for you. Get the bolt started. Get the bolt started on the bottom. Snug the bolts down. Pull the upper radiator support cover over. We're going to install the connectors for the horns. You're going to have to move these plastic fins off to the side, these little ones right here. There's one on this other side as well. When you drop the support cover down, be sure that the radiator is sitting inside of it. Install the 6 bolts into the radiator support. Snug down all the bolts. Install the fans. This box cutout is going to fit into a T on the bottom. It'll sit on the radiator. Pull the radiator hose back out of the way and allow the fans to drop down. And then clip the top parts into the pinch clips. Pull the harness over, install the plastic stays, and install the harness. Connect the connector. Push until you hear a click. If you don't hear a click, give it a pull. Make sure it's locked on. Do the same on the other side. Remove the cap off the upper radiator hose connection. Grab the upper radiator hose and install it. Pinch your clamp. Put the clamp back in its original position. Install the coolant overflow hose onto the radiator. Install the radiator cap. Install the air box. Get the bolt started. And snug them down. Remove the radiator cap Install a coolant funnel, and we'll fill the car with coolant. We're going to pour coolant into the vehicle. When it glugs and bubbles like this, that's a good sign. That means the system is sealed and you have no leaks. If the coolant just goes straight down and in, be looking for a leak because it means there's air at the bottom and the coolant is escaping somewhere. With the radiator full, start the car and let the cooling system bleed. Once all of the bubbles are done coming out of here, or you have full heat and no brakes for cold, go ahead and close it off. Remove your funnel and install the radiator cap. Install the radiator cover. These tabs are going to slide into the front bumper. Install the clips.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.